How to find the meaning of words from root letters using Arabic dictionaries. Right now, all we are focusing on is building the best foundation that can then be built upon later by learning morphology and grammar. I want to leave you with the ability to read and understand the Quran without even knowing Arabic at this point. But since you do know the root of its writing system, you can work your way through the language. Of course, it is better to know both the root of the writing system and the actual language that the writing system was based upon. And we will, later, or on your own journey, Allah willing. Usually, when learning Arabic, we learn the letters and how to read, and then we learn grammar, and thereafter we learn morphology. However, I think a more practical approach is to learn the letters and how to read, and then morphology, and thereafter grammar. My reasoning is that the letters form root words, and root words form words, and words form sentences. So letters first, root words second, and sentences third. Therefore, the order of learning Arabic is to learn reading first, morphology second, and then grammar. Morphology deals with how letters react with each other, while grammar deals with how words react with each other. Knowing the Arabic root word system morphology makes it possible to look up words in the Quran, as well as giving you the ability to increase your vocabulary without having to study individual words. One root word can give you a vast number of words and way more if you include affixes. After that comes knowing why a word is the way it is and where it is inside of a sentence, which is grammar and rhetoric, the creative use of words and grammar. In this section, I will briefly go through what morphology is and only include a small summary and key details of what you will need to know in order to start using the dictionary today without knowing any more Arabic than what we have learned up to this point. Firstly, Arabic words are made up of root letters. These root letters are usually three, in order from right to left. Those three letters can be put in specific locations within a word and have extra letters added to them in specific pattern forms. This will give additional specific meaning to that root word. That is a small part of what morphology is. In English, for example, one root word is struct and means build from Latin. Using that one root word, we can add affixes to it and create words like construct, construction, constructor, structure, destruct, destruction, deconstruction. You get the idea. The Arabic language has this type of system, but on a whole other level. Knowing how to do that will allow you to gain mastery over vocabulary and to know the true meaning of words. For our intended purpose in this section, I will teach you how to find the root word and root letters without knowing or studying morphology. If you see a word and want to find its root letters, an easy way or trick is to know the helping or assisting letters, which are letters that can be added to a root word to give it more meaning and to alter its meaning in specific ways. However, that meaning will ultimately have to do with the root word itself. There are 9 letters that can be added to a root word. A root letter may also be found doubled in the original root word. However, that is not included in the 9. The aim here is to give you the ability to find the root letter by process of elimination. If you take away one or more of those 9 letters and are left with 3, that is your root word, and the word which you will look up in the dictionary. The extra added letters are alif and hamza, which I count as 1 letter, ta, sin, lam, mim, noon, ha, waw, and ya. Something you should also be aware of before jumping right in is that the Arabs made changes to root words in order to ease pronunciation, and to make words sound better, according to them at least. So sometimes a root letter may not be what it seems. This is the case for letters that function as both consonants and long vowels, since they can be affected and assimilated by the letters around them. In the case of alif, only its long vowel form is questionable, and not its hamza form, which also includes alif at the beginning of a word. In addition, such a letter may not be present when conjugated, as in when you find it in a book, but be in the original root word. No worries though, these changes have strict formulas and patterns for anyone to learn by studying morphology in order to find their way back to the root word. So just to get you started, without going into too much detail, a waw or ya, usually a waw, as the first root letter in a word you come across may be missing, but be a part of the root word if what follows it is a kasra or fatha. For example, wasala, meaning to arrive, can be found as asalu, where the alif is the pronoun I, giving us I arrive. Also, an alif in what seems to be the middle root letter may actually be a waw or ya in the real root letter, and a ya or a waw at the end root letter may have been affected by the short vowel preceding it in a word. So, a kasra before a waw, for example, might have turned the original root letter waw into a ya. This will all be explained in depth when you study morphology. To give you what you need for now, just remember that the actual root letter will most likely be written in the Quran, even if pronounced as an alif, for example, when the root is a waw, or found typed as a waw in websites or other books, for instance. The thing to remember is that root words which contain consonants, which also function as long vowels such as the alif, not hamza form, waw, or ya, in the examples mentioned previously, can make it seem difficult to identify the original root letter. But most of the time, to be certain, all you have to do is identify the word's plural form found in the Quran, and it will become clear to you if the root word has an alif, waw, or ya. And if all this still seems a bit too much for now, then don't worry. You can just go on corpus.quran.com or Quranics.org and click on the actual word in the Quranic ayah, commonly translated as verse, and it will give you the root word. Now, there are dictionaries with modern Arabic word definitions and not classical, such as Hans Ware, but even there you may find classical definitions along with the modern ones. Also, you may find religious, hadith-based definitions in the dictionaries, but those are easy to spot and can be easily avoided. Ejtal.net is a good source containing a collection of Arabic dictionaries and perfect if you want to look up classical Arabic terms and definitions in English. Tips: some root word definitions and translations found in the dictionaries have the hadith-influenced religious meaning included along with the original meanings. The most common ones to know are salah or salat to mean prayer. Salah does not mean ritualistic prayer or prayer. Prayer can be a part of salah, but salah does not mean prayer. Zakat to mean an obligatory tax on Muslims. Zakat does not mean a tax. Jizya to mean a tax on non-Muslims. Jizya does not mean a tax on non-Muslims.